Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to the Momsplanation podcast. Today, we have a very interesting and inspirational guest on today.
She's a fan.
Yeah, she is. So it was a random story, and we love this, and we definitely encourage it. We love when people send us messages, and Rebecca, who's on the episode today, sent us a message through our Instagram account, just wanting to share her story and, you know, really enjoying the platform of the podcast. And we were so happy to have the opportunity, right? So if you're out there and you want to chat with us,
message us.
Yeah, please send us a message. You know, having this dialogue with Rebecca today was so great, and it never would have happened if she hadn't reached out, because we didn't know who she was before,
no idea
now. So,
and she has more than one amazing story. Like her whole life is just, we had goosebumps. Both of us had goosebumps.
Yes,
it's
for
incredible.
Sure.
Yeah.
For sure. She talks about loss, grief, depression, getting through,
kids' allergies.
Yeah, kids' allergies. It's all in there, and you know, her message of coming out the other side is important in any situation that is difficult for you in life, right? Mm-hmm. So it was really great, and we hope you guys listen and enjoy, and send us messages if you want to be on the podcast with us. Just a couple of momies.
Just hanging
out, rolling down the street. All right, guys, have a great day. Enjoy. Keep it real.
Bye, guys.
Word.
You're listening to the Momsplanation. Real life, real moms, real talk.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Momsplanation podcast.
Hi.
Today we have a fantastic guest who is not in person, but kind of in person. So do you prefer to be called Bex? Rebecca, what is the preference?
Becky's pretty common.
All right. Yeah. Becky is with us.
Yeah.
So welcome. Thanks for being on the podcast with us today. So you live in Milton too, just like me, not like Emily. And how long have you lived in Milton?
My whole life.
Oh, you're an OG Miltoner. You're a townie. I don't encounter a lot of townies anymore. I used to when I moved here like 11 years ago now. It was all townies basically. Yes. And now there are no townies.
I know.
Whatsoever.
We're dwindling.
Yeah.
And the older generation is all moving north.
Yeah, well, we were talking to, I think it was Melissa on episode 2. Mm-hmm. She's an OG townie too.
Yeah, we went to school together.
Oh, you did? Yeah. Oh, no way. That's so cool. So how do you feel about the way Milton has changed? Do you love it? Do you hate it?
I do. Being younger, having kids, I really do like it. A lot of people find it difficult, and there's been some big changes really fast, but as far as just opportunities for my kids, and I can't really complain.
Right.
But as we get older, we'll probably end up moving north.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, the cost of living in Milton now is kind of insane, right?
Yes.
Like it's turned into this like crazy gong show of like $1 million homes for no home.
And Milton used to be like the cheap place to go, right? And now it's not. Like it's
for sure not. No, like we've been at this house now for 14 years, and I think we had it appraised back in 2005, and it was like 3-something.
Right.
And now all the houses on our street are going for at least 650.
Crazy. That is insane growth. That's like doubling your money in like 14 years?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So what's the biggest difference you think from when you were growing up as a kid here in Milton, other than the population?
Yeah, no, traffic obviously.
Yeah, traffic is terrible.
Traffic. I feel a little bit more nervous, but that's probably just because I have kids too.
Yeah.
So I realize it, but just more people, so that means more.
Yeah.
Kiddos.
But there was probably like was there more, and I'm assuming, but like people knew each other more, right? When you were growing up, like you knew everyone in town?
Yeah. You go to, like I go to a store now and I know nobody.
Right.
But before I go in, I need to see at least one person that you know. Now I go out of town to Costco and I see all of Milton and Costco.
Yeah. That's where we congregate.
It's Costco.
Yeah, Burlington Costco. Yeah, that's right. So whereabouts in Milton did you grow up? Because you have sort of an interesting story of growing up here in Milton.
So I'm like, I was still older Street.
Okay.
Area, so
Okay.
Heritage area, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
It was funeral home. My parents were entrepreneurs and they were funeral directors.
So you actually lived in the funeral home.
In a funeral home. Yeah.
Wow. And does that...
I was my girl, actually.
That's...
When
Oh,
I was
yeah.
Yes, the movie.
I totally forgot about that. Oh, my gosh. That's going to be the title of your episode.
Yeah, my girl. Yep, that's it.
The real life My Girl. That's so crazy.
When we met, my husband and I, when we met, he's like, oh, you're like my girl. Yep.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So does the funeral home still exist today in Milton? Or? It does. Okay.
Yeah. It has a different owner, but the same name.
Is it the one on Main Street?
It's Scott Early Funeral Home.
Okay. Oh, okay. Crazy.
Yeah. So then they sold, and then they kept the name.
They kept the name. That's nice.
So
Okay.
what was that like, being a kid in that sort of environment?
I didn't realize it was a thing until I started school, and it became a thing.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So
Right.
it was just normal. We just had more room.
More room. It was quiet.
To run around in. There's a lot of space in the funeral home.
So did you live upstairs?
Yeah.
So it was like a house.
Yeah. There's like an apartment upstairs.
Okay.
And then they have the main level was all dedicated to funeral home.
Which is where they would have like the visitations.
Yeah.
Okay, so you would be playing like upstairs and there'd be like a body or bodies.
And people crying and, like...
Wow.
And that as a young child before you went to school didn't seem strange? To have all these people coming in your house?
It was
Right.
the norm. And my dad would be downstairs embalming.
Right.
That happens at the funeral home.
Right.
Yeah.
And he'd hear me coming down the stairs and he'd throw a sheet up quick. So
Yeah.
that we could have a conversation, and it was like so normal.
Really? Oh my
I'd be
gosh,
there
that's so
and there'd be,
crazy.
like a little toe.
Oh my god.
But it wasn't like scary. It wasn't.
Because
just, like, my dad
it's what you knew, so you just,
How my parents would explain it. It was just like it's part of life, and we're helping people.
Right.
Oh.
It wasn't like scary. I think the first time that I got freaked out was after I watched The Sixth Sense.
Right.
And I went downstairs because the bathroom was being occupied in our apartment house area.
Right.
We just go downstairs, and I went downstairs and all the lights were on. And that was the first moment that I was like weirded out, freaked out that there was something, more to it than what I had grown up.
right. I just, for me, it's so weird, but for you, it was just the total, now, so when you went to school, and people, what were the kids saying? Like, they were like...
So you eat breakfast with them? And I'd come home and I'd say, I'd be having dinner and I'd say, so-and-so was asking me questions and why is it strange? And my parents were like, oh, people just don't understand it.
Yeah, and it's true.
Yeah, and...
Well, people probably thought you had ghosts in your house. That's where my mind goes to, is didn't you feel like it was a haunted house?
Yeah, and then as I got older, people were so inquisitive and being like, what have you seen?
Yeah.
What's the weirdest thing? And they're like, oh.
Dead bodies.
But you weren't seeing the dead bodies,
No.
right?
Well, just no, there's times when my dad would do cosmetics, so they'd be fully clothed and in their casket, and then my dad would have to apply cosmetics to give them more color and make them look more like themselves. So there was times when I would have a question for him, where I'd have to interrupt him in the middle of that, and I would be there.
Yeah.
Someone's loved one, but it was such drill, respect.
Yeah.
It was not. We even had to use proper terms. We weren't allowed to say body or anything like that. It was someone's loved one or the deceased.
That's
or
nice.
They didn't die. They passed away.
Yeah.
All the terminology was there, so that when we were out in the world talking to people, didn't sound
Right.
like funeral directors.
Right, no. And it's very respectful using, those.
So you had siblings?
Yes, I have a sister. She's 5 years younger.
Okay.
So the two of us are very loud women, girls.
Because you had to be so quiet at home.
So quiet. So old Milton people that were at our funeral home over the years, I'm sure would hear us thumping around at some point. quiet
Right.
all the time.
Wow.
Well, and kids are kids, right?
Yeah,
So it's
exactly.
not like you can explain to them, like, people are grieving.
Yeah.
Like, what is your perception of grieving at, 5 years old?
Yeah,
It's like, I
exactly.
don't know what that means. I'm just going to play because I'm
a kid.
a kid and I'm egocentric and I can't.
Yeah.
So when did you ever hate it? Was there ever a moment where you're like, ugh, I don't want to live this way. I would rather just live in a regular house or...
You know what? It would come down sometimes to just the amount of people my parents knew in town. So it was like, people talk about before camera phones. Well, I did always feel like I was kind of on a camera phone growing up because I always knew, someone always knew my parents. And even if I didn't know them, they'd be like, oh, that's Scott and Michelle's daughter. And then it would be like, I have to behave.
Yeah, that's right.
They're gonna tell my parents.
Yeah. And what age, when did this all end? Like, when did you leave? When did you guys move, sell the business?
So that's kind of like a story in itself, too. When I was 15, my dad had his brain aneurysm. And so he could no longer run the funeral because he was one of the low percentages of people that don't come back from it, basically. Yeah. And that he was paralyzed, essentially, for a little while.
Did that happen in your presence? Did that happen to him?
We were my mom and my sister and I were at our trailer.
Okay, like in the summer?
Yeah, in the summer. So it was July of 99.
Right.
And we were on our way back down to Milton because we were just at the trailer park in Bellwood. So we weren't very far because we couldn't buy a trailer far away because if my dad got a phone call, that was the other thing too, is it was like 24/7 for my parents.
Right.
So we didn't do family vacations ever. And if we did, it had to be somewhere close because if so-and-so passed away,
they had to go back.
We'll get back.
Yeah.
So our trailer was really close. So we were on our way home from Milton, and my mom got a phone call, and it was from one of the girls that was helping my dad out. And she said, she's like, Scott's had an episode. We don't know what's going on, but just go right to the hospital. And my mom was like, she pulled over. She was obviously distraught, but she was keeping it together because she had two. I was 15 and my sister would have been 10.
Wow.
So she was, so we booked it down to the hospital and then just like, our world exploded.
And how old was he at this time?
He had just turned 40.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's so young.
It was, yeah. So,
he was paralyzed, like nonverbal, like that sort of thing?
Everything, yeah.
So he lost everything, basically.
Pretty much, he had to retrain everything, yeah. Even swallowing. Couldn't swallow properly. So we had to use thickeners for his juice or chocolate milk or whatever he was having and rehabilitate him, basically. He had his surgery in Hamilton and then he got moved up to Shadok, which has like a brain injury area. Yeah. Yep. And then he did some rehabilitation there. And then he got to come home, and then we had like around the clock care. Red Cross, March of Dimes helped a lot. That was a huge association that helped with us. So so then it was just my mom running things, and she technically wasn't a funeral director. She was more administration.
Yeah.
Right.
So we had to hire a funeral director, someone that was like fairly fresh out of school was what my mom had been looking for. So we had to bring someone else in to run the funeral home for my parents.
So so to just interject, had they always just been the two of them? Like he was the director, she was the administrator?
Wow.
Yeah, two people. I can't just say just the two all the time because when they have funerals, they have to bring someone else.
Right.
To help
Yeah, right.
But it was usually just someone that was part of the just like
The funeral itself, right?
Funeral industry, yeah.
Right.
Or friends that that had gone through and would want to work with a patient and stuff. So, but yes, essentially just the two of them.
Okay, so he becomes incapacitated and your mom has to scramble to find someone else.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So she did that, and that worked really well. Obviously, she dealt with her own stuff because that's pretty traumatic for herself.
Yeah.
Two girls too, and I didn't deal with it very well. I had really bad episodes of depression and.
Because what was it like with him at home like that? Like, what was his state at home?
Well, he's not the same. He's having to retrain himself. He's having to rehabilitate himself. So his mood was off.
Yeah.
We're just surrounded by strangers all of a sudden, if that's the best way I can put it. Like, it was like our home for so long was just my sister and I, my mom and my dad, and then we have like people coming in all the time. We don't know.
Yeah.
Never,
and from the sounds of it, and you mean like when you say coming in, you mean like in your actual physical space, not in the funeral home space.
no,
Like in your home.
No.
And from the sounds of it, your dad was very like strong man, in charge, very active.
Yeah.
And
somewhat of a workaholic, I would say. Like he loved what he did, and he did it really well. And he loved serving the community, and the feeling that would give him inside, like basically kept him going all the time. And which could have been a little bit of his demise too, because he was working nonstop.
Yeah.
He would not share responsibility.
Right.
My mom would be like, "Oh, we should go on a family vacation." The girl had never been down south. He's like, "Yeah, but
Work.
it's a week away."
Yeah.
And so it's even people close to him know.
Yeah.
For himself.
So it's like a switch went off, and then your life went from knowing your dad as one man to knowing your dad now, or trying to get to know your dad as this new man, on top of dealing with invasion of privacy.
Yes.
Your mom obviously was probably busier, right? So less available to you guys.
Yeah, we were very, we just kind of had to start self-running ourselves. Like, she was there for advice. She was there to help when we needed money for school events. She was there but as far as like the nurturing part, it was very hard to get that after that.
And you're in a formative years, right? Like you're going through all the teenage stuff that's so hard on girls.
I just spiraled out of control for myself. Like I just could not keep it together anymore. It was like, I couldn't see a positive coming out of this situation at all.
Right.
Like I think not too long ago there was a whole campaign that came out that was It Gets Better with people dealing with depression.
Yeah.
And that was so strong for me, because it was like I had come out the other end and it did get better. But when I was in that state dealing with that whole situation, I'm like, this is futile. Like, this is just not going to happen.
Right. And what's the lowest point for you at that time?
I did attempt once.
Wow.
And that was pretty tough. And so on top of my mom trying to run a business, now she has a daughter who's trying to
leave this world. Yep.
Right.
Yeah, it all. And so I feel guilty to that, because I know that she was already dealing with a lot.
Right.
And then on top of that, I honestly...
Well, you were still a kid yourself, going through a traumatic situation for yourself.
Hormones as well.
Right.
So you're already dealing with stuff. I was overweight I never really pulled myself out of that. So, but just on top of that with high school, and everyone's got boyfriends and prom and athletic banquets.
Right.
And dressing up and happy families and vacations, and I'm like...
You're living in a funeral home. Your dad is now incapacitated. You're feeling not great about yourself, physically, emotionally, mentally, and it's just falling apart.
Next going to change for me is kind of where I was at.
Right, and so
how does this even get better? Yeah.
So what was it that helped you turn a corner from that?
I went to therapy, and then I was at Oakville Fogger for like a week and a bit. And so they got to actually put me on antidepressants and actually see how the antidepressants were affecting me, because I'd reached out before to somebody, and they just kind of put me on something and then sent me home.
Of course.
And that's I think what was the tipping point, is I wasn't on proper prescription.
Yeah.
Because up until that point I hadn't really had suicidal thoughts. I was just really sad. But then when I was put on just a dose of something, like, oh, this is what's popular right now, this should help. And then I got home and I started taking it, and we'll see you in a week. Well, a week later, I was not.
Literally a week later after being on this.
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow.
So it wasn't the right chemistry.
Clearly not. Yeah, and I think that's the problem now is, one, I've had a different situation with the family doctor. They're so busy that they're so quick to just write this prescription, and we'll see what happens. It might work, it might not, but in the meantime, a week later, you could have lost your life, like over a pill, like that kills me. So fast forward to now, is your dad still with us?
My dad is. He's living in town at a long-term care.
Long-term care, yeah. Yeah.
So he's got he needs around the clock care. He essentially what happens is he was CCAC came in and they evaluate and they say, okay, can he cook himself dinner? No. Can he make it to the bathroom without falling?
No.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But probably not. So that's where.
So does he walk, talk? What is his state? Like,
Yeah,
what has
so
he rehabilitated himself to?
His long-term memory is there. He can see someone from years ago and know who you are.
Right.
He'll remember specifics about funeral services that he's put on. Like he's there, that part of it. But he uses a walker. Long distances is a wheelchair. He can't cook for himself.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like your dad and my dad should get together because they're literally like they're the same. They're in the same situation.
Yeah.
But I don't know about your dad, but my dad had the brain aneurysm and then he had a stroke. So that's
Yes, that was mine too.
right. It was like they told us that when they were going in to put the stent in his brain that there was like a 90% chance of stroke, and of course it happened.
Yeah.
So same. He rehabilitated very well. He went to the Toronto rehab and did that, and they had him walking.
Oh wow.
But then they sent him to Oakville,
Yeah.
and he didn't have the same amount of attention he had. And then he went back into the wheelchair, and that was so sad because we saw him walking and then we didn't. And same, he's in long-term care. I mean, it's the safest place, right? I can go to bed at night knowing that he's safe, he's fed, his laundry is done, and we talk on the phone, and same, he can tell me about his childhood. He can tell me about his childhood at the snap of a finger, but I will walk in with my daughter and he'll be like, "You had a baby?"
Yeah. So short term, yeah.
Exactly. Isn't that funny? So it's like they had the exact same.
So does your dad like that with your children? Like,
No, not to that extent.
Yeah.
okay.
It's just like remembering appointments and stuff or birthdays.
Yeah, that's a
But
bad
I
one.
mean, essentially, like, is that kind of old age happening too?
Could-
Though, really?
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it
hard
could
now.
be.
He's in his 60s now.
Yeah.
So,
And the stroke didn't help.
yeah, of course. Yeah. Was he good with birthdays before?
Absolutely not. Neither was
Yeah,
mine. So
Right.
Yeah.
So after I'm going to take us back just a little bit. So after you are going through your own depression, your mom is running the funeral home, your dad is, going through what he's going through. At what point does your mom sort of throw in the towel and say, I got to sell this thing?
She got cancer.
Oh no.
Gosh.
How long after was that?
I was 19, so 4 years later.
Oh my God. I have goosebumps.
Yeah, me
That's
too.
Terrible.
yeah.
So what kind of
so
cancer did she get diagnosed with?
She what happened with her was she had maybe TMI, but she thought what she had was a hemorrhoid. And she was just going to go in for regular hemorrhoid surgery, get it all checked out. And of course they went for biopsy.
Yes.
And they did, and it was cancerous. And then,
Right.
So then it was there, and then it was just Princess Margaret. Like, it was like,
Yeah,
oof,
yep.
just it. So then they found some in her tailbone.
Are you still in high school at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Holy shit. And your sister would have just been starting high school.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And still.
So now
I
you-
was like just finishing because when did I graduate? 2003. So I'm still in high school because she was diagnosed when I was still there technically. Yeah.
So now you have two parents that are ill, basically.
Yeah. So she went to Princess Margaret, radiology, and then it spread to her. Was it her tailbone? I think. Yeah, her tailbone. So they basically suggested a colonoscopy.
Right.
Just to, and so she had that done, and we were like really hopeful about that. She started to come around again a little bit. Felt good, but was still just not. She just thought maybe she was just going to have anyways. They retested her.
Yeah.
And it had spread to her liver.
How long after was that? After
was
her first
probably-
diagnosis?
Her first diagnosis was January of 2003.
Yeah.
Or it was just the new year.
Yeah.
And then she got re-diagnosed when it had told her it was in her liver in May of 2004.
Oh.
Okay.
And then she died in August of 2005. So
Wow.
when it spread to her liver, they're like, it's in a high blood flow area. Not much we can do. What do you want to do? And she just wanted to stop chemo and live the rest of her life as much as she could. She was devastated, obviously, because she knew she'd be leaving us behind, but it was like she wasn't going to win. It wasn't, they basically said, like, you do it on chemo, you be really sick, and then you end up passing away anyways. So she had a really tough choice to make. So we had a really, really good summer with her.
Yeah.
Got the funeral home sold to a family, which is what she wanted. She didn't. She wanted to take her time to sell a business that she'd worked so hard.
That's right.
And my dad had worked so hard to build. So they wanted to make sure it was a family owned and operated.
Right.
So they did. They ended up finding Kim and Rebecca Hunter, and they had a son, and they ended up selling to them. And then I think the closing was like 6 days after she died.
Wow.
So she got to officially see it close, but she at least got to meet the family then.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So how old were you when she passed?
21.
And your sister was 16 years old.
Still in high school, so I had my sister.
So were you taking care of her?
Yeah, she stayed with me.
So where did you guys go after your mom? Where did you guys go? Where did you live?
Because she had some time to plan, we had been able to get this place that I'm in now.
Okay.
Get that, and she was able to get all that straightened out for us before she passed away. So my sister and I stayed in this house that I'm currently at with my family.
Yeah.
And I looked after I was given the option. My mom said she's young and you want her to go live with grandma for a little while because you're going to be young too, trying to get a career going. Like I was like, what am I going to do with my life?
Yeah, for sure.
So I took like a really quick college course, a business course, just to get my foot in the door somewhere. Just because I'm like, what am I going to do with like barely any college education? So I just went into business admin because I was like, I just need to get somewhere and hopefully I can work my way up. So I said, no, she can stay with me. We'll figure it out. And she did. She lived here. I got her through high school.
Yeah.
After fights, wake up.
Oh my gosh.
I don't want to. No, get up. We have to keep going. So yeah.
And how was your sister? Did she have points of depression? Were you back to feeling depressed after your mom died? How did that?
I did not go back into a spiral with that. I think there was an inner strength that came out of me that I was like, I had too many people relying on me, and I could have gone one way or the other, where it was like suffocating, or I have to rise above this.
Right.
I have no choice. And the people around me, what's going to happen to them? And it was like having, definitely not the same, but it was like having kids very quickly. So you have two people that are depending on you, so you got to make it work.
Right.
And that's what I had to do.
And how did she respond?
Oh, hi. Hi, here's
There's my
someone.
little guy. My sister, she did okay. She had a rough time with it because, like, do you want to say hello? Hello.
Hello, sir. How are you? Good. I like your Spider-Man shirt.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I don't know how to describe it. We didn't talk about our feelings too much. I think we both kind of just sat down one night after it all went down. I think it was October, and we both just said, no matter what, we have to be each other's rock. Like we have to get through this.
Yeah.
So when you're mad at me, you gotta rise above that, or when I'm mad at you, you gotta rise above that.
Right.
We just made a pact to get through it, and took being depressed was understandable, but took any other option off the table for each other. Like,
Right.
we're just gonna fight for this.
Yeah, for sure.
2 hours to make it and
2 hours to make what?
to make a Ghostbuster headquarters.
Oh, Ghostbuster headquarters. Oh, 2 hours. That's a long time. That sounds like a cool headquarters.
My dad made it.
Your dad made it for you?
Yeah.
Oh, you're so lucky. That's so awesome. You're a very lucky boy.
Yeah,
That's
so
excellent.
That's that part
My
of life.
sister was on.
He's not gonna stop until he gets it all out.
That's right.
Hang on. Is your show over? Is that what you're coming to tell me?
No.
Oh, you're just coming to talk.
Yeah, he's like, I have things to say. I'd like to be on the podcast.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I find some more dicks we can like.
Okay. I'm gonna get him set up.
Yep.
Okay, don't
Yeah,
worry.
no
You
worries.
take your time.
Don't make me.
Okay.
I got good ones.
You want Ghostbusters?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. Okay, there you go. There you go. Yeah, so my sister, I can't really speak for her too much. She just kind of dealt with everything the way she could. I'd love to say that we had these deep talks all the time about our feelings and stuff, but it was like,
No.
can we just get through this?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I could see that.
My biggest thing was just finish school. You will regret it.
Yeah.
It'll it'll look at it as like your own self accomplishment through this whole thing that we've
Right.
that we've been through in life. So
So how long did she live with you?
she did end up going to college for a little bit. Well, she lived with me until I think 2011. Yeah, 2011.
Wow.
Okay.
So she was here for a while.
Okay. After you got married, was she
Yeah,
with you?
so I got married in 2010, and then she moved out just shortly after that. She met who is now her husband, and they.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So what do you feel like this situation has made you guys closer than you would have been if you hadn't gone through all of this?
In some aspects, it's so crazy how your mind works too.
Yeah.
Because with this whole thing of going into survival mode at such a young age,
Yeah.
she's actually said to me, she's like, sometimes your outlook on life is that it's you against the world, and it's very
Yeah,
true. Like
for sure.
I'm not depressed or anything like that, but I do feel like sometimes it's just like just getting through the days.
Yeah.
That's in a non-suicidal way. Like it's not like
No,
but
yeah.
it's like-
So I think that's just mom life
It is,
sometimes.
yeah.
I think through all walks of life, anyone who's a mom
You're on
has those
autopilot.
days where it's
Yeah.
like, I just need to get through this day without
When is bedtime?
losing my mind. Or, yeah, for sure. That's definitely a huge thing. So how has it been for you being a mom yourself, becoming a mom, being a partner, all that kind of stuff in a very obviously different environment than you grew up in?
Yeah. So, because of the trauma that I suffered younger, I kind of have developed as a mom more like a type A attitude, which I don't love, but
Right.
it's how I cope.
Okay.
So having routine is really good for me. Having people depend on me is good.
Yeah.
Waking up and having a outline of what I want my day to look like is really good
Yeah.
for me. Because there was just when you're in my younger years, there was just so much you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Things
For
change.
sure.
So now as an adult, I'm very like structured, and
Yeah.
it drives my husband crazy sometimes because
Right.
I'm not as open to change.
Yeah, you're not as flexible.
Enough.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But that's just how I cope.
Yeah.
Through it.
And do you find that because you have, like, you don't really have parents anymore and
Right.
haven't for a long time, do you find that you have connected on a deeper level with your in-laws? Like, do you have great in-laws that you've connected with on a deeper
Yeah.
level, or no?
My husband's mom is like, she's always praised me so much, and she knows that. She knows my story, and she knows that, and she'll tell me, you're so good for Jeff.
Yeah.
So yes, I have a great mother-in-law that she lives really far up north. Both of my sets of my in-laws live north.
Okay.
So we don't have them around the corner to kind of help us out with
Yeah.
stuff all the time.
Yeah.
She would be there in a heartbeat if we needed her for an emergency or whatever.
Amazing.
But
Right.
yeah, but I don't have that additional assistance.
Help,
Like,
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I know I have this sort of like it's definitely negative energy that I feel sometimes towards people who have parents who help them all the time, because I, like, in the 11 years that I've been a mother, I've never had that. Like, I've had like sometimes some help here and there, but it's like I hear about these women who have moms that like are there at their house every day, and you know, them and their husbands are going out on dates every week, and I was like,
or going on week vacations.
yes, who are these people? Yeah,
Sign me up.
so I feel like I hope that they know how lucky they are, because it's like the people who don't have it, it's like, you know, there's part of me as a, you know, a mom of 4 kids that's like, I can't wait until they're grown up so that, you know, Daniel and I can have some time together.
Yes.
But, you know, at the same time, it's like I'm trying to enjoy them growing up. But there is definitely a part of me that's like, oh, God, I need some time, you know?
Really, I don't think I enjoyed the newborn years as much as I should have, because I was just like, I didn't have the extra hands. I didn't have my husband actually was very helpful. But I couldn't just relish in the newborn stage.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I really did either. I think I had the best experience with my 3rd child and like really enjoying her, because, you know, I was older and just in a different place in my life. But yeah, I definitely can relate with that, like not taking advantage of soaking up, you know, that newborn stage.
Yeah.
Because, you know, your head is like in so many places that it's hard to remind yourself to be present, right? Like there's so many hormones coursing through your body, so much emotion. It's so hard to get to that place.
Yeah.
So have you continued to do therapy in your adult life?
Not really. I just kind of found my own vibe. Like I kind of found my own thing. I was able to just self-soothe with like music, and I have my own little like weaving on the side.
Yeah, I saw that. Well, that's how you connected with us, is your little weaving. Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. I could never do that.
So we do that.
So are you a stay-at-home mom?
Yep.
Yeah. So what is your business? Do you have a business name?
String Me Right Along.
Okay.
String me right along.
Yeah.
And so how did you come up with this idea for the business?
I just needed an outlet, and I wasn't ready to go back to work yet, because on top of everything, which is like a whole other topic, but my son has food allergies, so I wasn't comfortable doing preschool, and so I said I just kind of needed something else to occupy myself, and decided to self-teach, and just started. My husband came home one day, and I was like, I have a business, and I just opened my Instagram page, so I'm going to send you an invite. Like,
like my page.
Yeah.
So, but where because it's not like anything I've ever seen before.
No.
So where did you like even find out about this?
I had just started seeing, what was it? Macrame was kind of making a comeback, and it sounds cheesy, but when I was a kid, I loved making friendship bracelets, and like,
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, okay, so let me just start reading and doing and seeing what is involved in this, and it was like how to make your own loom, how to start how to weave certain ways and techniques, and I just started playing around with it, and once I was comfortable enough with it, I just kind of started making stuff for people, like friends of mine and stuff like that.
Right.
And I just started posting about it, and it just kind of went from there. It's very niche, so like not everyone in Canada is going to have one.
Right. Yeah.
But it's just something that I find that I go through stages in life where I'm listening to different types of music, and so what I do is I just kind of pick where I'm at with that, and I just weave to music and see where the design takes me, and it's a little bit more of like an art.
Right. No, still, it's your, like you said, it's your outlet, you know, like everyone has their thing, and this is your thing. Yeah.
Very cool. Very, very cool. So
and I thought about writing, but it just takes too much time.
I know.
When your kids are older.
I feel the same about writing. I used to love it when I was younger, and there's so many moments, especially, I don't know about you, but like at nighttime when I'm lying in bed, it's like, oh, I could write this down. This might make a good book. And then by the time I wake up in the morning, it's like
forget.
gone out of my head. It's like, oh, I had that really good idea. And then it's like, no, I don't remember now. It's all gone. Yeah. So you have a 7-year-old daughter.
Yes.
Or almost 7, I think you said. And your son is 3.5?
Yep.
And he's the one who has health concerns, correct?
Right. His food allergies, yeah.
So how did that transpire for you after he was born?
He was 5 months, and we tried him on rice cereal, and he just started projectile vomiting everywhere for hours, and then to the point where it was like bile. And I called the telehealth, and like, oh, could have been, this or that, and I'm like, okay,
Right.
He seems to be better now, so I'll just leave it. And
Yeah.
then, my husband, while I was away at a baby shower, tried it again, and the same thing happened.
Right.
I'm like, well, let's just stay away from rice cereal. let's just keep rice cereal away. And then 10 months, I took him out shopping.
Right.
And he was in a shopping cart, and we still don't really know the culprit. It could have been that he was sitting in a contaminated cart, or something to do with my daughter because she had been touching goat cheese.
Okay.
Or he had a squeezy, and it could have been residue on the squeezy.
Right.
But anyways, he ingested it or something somehow, rubbed it in his eye, and he had an anaphylactic reaction.
Oh my God.
In the grocery store, yeah. So.
And what did that look like?
He started getting hives.
Okay.
And he started crying.
Yeah.
And his lips started to go pale.
Yep.
And he got welts behind his legs and his elbows. And
So what did you do? Call 911 in the grocery
yeah.
store? Yeah, okay. Whew.
called 911.
God.
Yeah.
Shit.
And then it was just kind of followed up with, okay, well, don't give him that stuff anymore.
Okay.
Probably has a milk allergy. Don't give him that. And then we had to wait a year to see an allergist, and it was confirmed that it was milk, eggs, and then now he's just developed sesame as well.
Sesame. Wow.
So, hummus is out.
Oh, yeah. Hummus is life.
Yeah.
So what did you feed him for a year while you're waiting for an allergy test?
I know. Yeah. So I got him. He's okay with nuts, so he drank a lot of almond milk.
Okay.
No
That's-
yogurt.
That's
Has,
so interesting. Like no dairy, no
Eggs,
eggs,
yeah.
but nuts are okay. Usually here,
Yeah.
like the
That's
kids
right.
are like no nuts.
Yeah.
Opposite, yeah. And then we did a lot of quinoa flakes and pasta.
Yeah. Quinoa flakes are good, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Basically anything vegan, essentially, but he's not vegan. That's me that's incorporated that more lifestyle. But so he does eat meat still because he likes it.
Yep.
And I
Yep.
have a hard he has such a small selection to choose from.
It's
Actually,
true.
he's getting bigger now, but
Yeah.
that I just don't have the heart to be like, no meat for you. So
Yeah.
we'll
Right.
be there. But it's his own belief. Like he can make his own choice. Just
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. For sure. So how do you feel about sending him to school? Because I know at schools they're very sensitive to nuts. I don't see anything really though about dairy ever coming home.
It's always nuts. Nuts is number one. Yeah.
It's always nuts.
And because I have my older one, she has 0 food allergies.
Of
Yeah.
course.
So I'm living in this world where it's like I'm so split because I love pizza days for her. She loves pizza days on Wednesdays. But then for him, I'm terrified of pizza days. So I'm like, don't want pizza days, but I love pizza days at the same time. So my husband and I made the choice because he's an October baby too. That kind of helped. But we made the choice to not do JK
Yep.
until he potentially gives him another year to maybe outgrow some of this stuff, because that is always a possibility.
Yep.
But it's just too scary right now for me to have to do that as well. Like just tell people how to run their classroom and stuff as well. So
Right.
it's not a necessity that he goes to JK, and I will just do the same stuff that he would be doing there at home.
Right.
Yeah. Well, how do you keep a kid away from pizza
Right.
Yeah.
if all of his classmates are having it?
My daughter's used to, like, she still will eat dairy once in a while in the house around him, because we have really set rules on, like, where she eats it, how she eats it,
Yeah.
what she does after, all that stuff.
Excuse me.
How do
Bless
I
you.
do that at a school? I can't. It's impossible for me me to, unless I...
No, yeah, and especially I even feel that way about nuts. It's like if you come from a home that eats peanut butter for breakfast, like how do you ensure? Because I've definitely done it where I'm sure my daughter or my son has left the house and maybe they have peanut butter still on their face, like not a ton of it, but they might have a little bit. So it's like, and I feel guilty about that because I know that it's such a huge issue for a lot of kids now, but it's like, it's so hard to police that on top of everything else that you have going on when you don't have it in your own home, right? So like, are people educating their kids about keeping their food to themselves? Like, I don't know.
I don't know, exactly.
But are schools doing their part too? Pizza day. Enough of these places now make vegan pizza.
Yeah.
So is it an option? Like, I don't know.
No, they don't give that option.
But why isn't it? If we're getting it from a pizza store that already makes a vegan pizza, the child should be able to choose it, not because they're vegan, because of the dairy allergy, because that's not fair.
I'll tell you my experience. So last year, my 7-year-old is diabetic. She does better with gluten-free options, so just in terms of processing complex carbohydrates for her blood sugar. Gluten-free is better.
Yeah.
So we try and buy like gluten-free bread. The pasta that she eats is gluten-free. It's just easier for us, or easier for her, just in terms of blood sugar management.
For sure.
So she likes pizza day. We're also vegan. I am of the mentality that when they're out of this house, because they haven't been vegan their whole life, if they make the decision to not eat vegan things, that's fine.
Yeah.
My son is almost 11. My daughter's 7. They can make their own choice, right?
Right.
They just know at home we just don't have it.
Right.
Which is fine. So anyway, I wanted to ask the school if they could see about gluten-free and vegan options, right? Like just a cheese pizza, gluten-free.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we pay $57 twice a year
for
2 pieces of pizza for the pizza day.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
To have the gluten-free pizza, they didn't have a vegan cheese option, but to have a gluten-free pizza,
It's like over $100.
yes,
Right?
yeah.
Pardon me?
Yeah, it was 2 payments of $120 something.
Yeah.
So you might as well drive your child their own pizza on pizza day, and it's still cheaper.
Yes, basically. So I basically said, I did it for 1 year.
Yeah.
I did that. And then I basically said, fuck that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was like, that's too expensive. I have 2 kids. I'm not spending $170
That's a lot of pizzas.
twice a year for pizza. So yeah, it's definitely not.
Wow.
It's not sensitive to people with food aversions.
Maybe we need to start like a mom's march.
But you know what? But you know what it is? It's like one of those, it's just another thing, right? So I feel like we've gotten, like back in the day when we were kids, everybody I brought peanut butter sandwiches.
That's right. Yeah.
We had Nutella. Like there were definitely people who had nut allergies back then.
Right.
I remember interacting with people who had nut allergies who would basically tell me like, no, I can't come near your sandwich.
Because I'm allergic
to it. But we have become so like hyper, I guess, like helicopter about it, that it's like, people have made a huge stink. So now the school has to respond because people are, losing their minds about it.
Yeah.
So I just feel like if we keep adding more things on, and this was my mentality about the pizza thing. I was like, I'm not going to harass them about this gluten-free thing. I'm just going to deal with it myself.
Yeah.
Because like they're already dealing with so many things from so many students. Like I'm just going to pick my battle. Yeah. My battle with my daughter is support with her diabetes. I'm not going to fucking get all over them about pizza.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to pay for it, right?
Yep.
It's the same with, like, I'm so, I'm non-confrontational in life. Like, I'm just whatever.
Yeah.
So his food allergy has really forced me to have to step up a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Right.
And speak.
Yes.
Which has been so difficult. But it's another challenge that I'm just overcoming whenever.
But it's one of those things where it's like you're the advocate for your child.
Yeah.
It's not the society's responsibility to advocate for your child.
Yeah.
You're responsible, right? And I feel like you've taken that on.
Yes, for sure.
But a lot of people don't, right? They just put their kids out into the world and say like, oh,
luck.
other people can take care of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just do with the post-stress from the whole situation when he went into the anaphylactic, it was
For sure. You never want to do that again.
Now that I just
Yes.
If I don't have to. Just
Yeah.
by taking the proper precautions. And
Right.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
just feel like in my heart, JK is just not necessary enough
No.
to put them in
Yep.
potential.
Yeah. Put them in harm's way, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Undue stress for you and your family, for sure.
For sure.
For sure. Yeah, I feel
Amazing.
you on that one. I did put my daughter in JK, but I have to say that, like, you know, as a young kid in junior kindergarten, I was called to the class every single day, basically, which was fine, you know, but at the time I was working full time, and
Right.
it was very challenging to, you know, be that available to come back to the school. I was very grateful that they stayed in contact. But, you know, to your point, when you have a child who has special needs in that way that it's life-threatening,
Yeah.
it is a lot of responsibility to ask a kindergarten teacher to take on top of the 30 other children that they're trying to take care of.
That's right. And
Yeah.
that actually came at like the not perfect time, obviously, but it just kind of added to the decision. It was like, you know, class sizes are potentially going to increase. Like that's what
Yes.
they need on top of everything. So I'm
For
like,
sure.
no,
For
we'll
sure.
just stay home. And
Yeah.
Right. And you know, can you imagine how different classes would be if more parents were like you or like me and were, you know, more take charge of their children's situation, you know? And they weren't so, because, you know, like if we're being transparent, I'll share my opinion of school. It's a free babysitting.
yes, that's
Like-
what a lot of people have said. They're like, oh, you're not,
Yeah.
he's not missing anything.
No.
It's free babysitting.
No.
Yeah.
Like, and even for my older son who's 11, he has like learning disabilities, and he doesn't learn well in the singular way that the school system educates. So even for us with him, it's basically he's just learning social skills.
Yeah.
Right.
We pay for tutoring outside of school that he goes to twice a week. That's really helping educate him because it's one-on-one and it just helps his learning style.
Yeah.
So I do feel like, you know, a lot of times school really is just babysitting. So if you have those concerns and you're able to keep them home, I think that that's great.
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic.
And I'm lucky enough that I can. Not everybody can.
That's right.
So-
No,
Yeah.
that's what I
Yeah.
mean. Like not
Yeah.
everybody has the opportunity for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, absolutely. So do you take your kids to visit your father often or not really?
Yeah. They get to see him. He's just up the road from us, which is another thing too. Kind of made us decide to stay in town too.
Yeah.
My husband and I, when I met him, he moved in after a couple of years, and it was like we were sort of at that stage where it was like, do we move out or do we stay, or do you just make it yours? And he was coming into a situation where he didn't get to choose the house that he lived in.
Yeah.
He
Right.
didn't get to decorate. He didn't get to decide that he wants a garage because we
That's
just
right.
have a carport. So he had to make some big changes too to the way that he did things, or that he wanted, or how he saw the situation. And he manned up, and he was like totally cool with just kind of going with the flow, and didn't dig his heels in at all. He's like, well, you know, we'll just make it ours and make the situation work. And
Right.
And that's how
Yeah,
much he
so-
loves you.
yeah,
Yep.
he didn't want to uproot either because he knew my dad would be
Alone.
close to
Yeah.
us too, and
Yeah.
alone, if he was here. So, so my dad just lives up not too far from us, so worry about, especially in the summer because they have a really nice courtyard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Kids came outside and they just like run crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that's
So,
good. And did your sister stay in town or did she leave?
She's not too far. She's in Acton.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's not bad.
Still just
Yeah.
But I look after my dad's power of attorney, so
Yeah.
I did feel a little obligated more to stay closer to him.
For sure. For sure.
To his stuff. So,
And
yeah.
is your sister a mother now?
Yes, she is a mother, and I can now confirm she's going to be a mother again.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
That's so
So she'll
exciting.
she has one on the way too, which is nice.
Beautiful.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and it's funny because I bumped into an older lady that I recognized from my childhood, but hadn't seen me in since the whole thing with my parents. And she goes, "Wow, how many kids do you have?" And I'm just kind of filling her in briefly, and she just kind of stared at me for a second, and I'm like, "I made it."
Right?
Yeah.
On the other side, I'm still here.
Yep.
Yeah, which is amazing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, "Wow, you're married and you have 2 kids." I'm like, "Yeah." And I made it through.
You did. You
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to lose your parents in that way. I know your father's still with us,
Yeah.
but not really as a father,
Right.
Yeah.
because he's, incapacitated in that way. But to lose them so close together at such a formative time in your life,
Yeah.
and to be able to say, I endured, I survived that, and I've, been able to create a life for myself that is, joyful and happy, is really an accomplishment for
Yeah.
sure.
Amazing.
And I know that, people who are in a similar situation, that's very inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
It's very inspiring. So what would you say to someone listening that has lost their parents and is maybe struggling or is going through the loss of someone that's, very significant to them? What would your advice to someone like that be?
Well, number one is that you're definitely not alone. That there's lots of people that are willing to help if you need additional help. With my situation, it was like things just kind of fell together sometimes. Like, I also met my husband really shortly after my mom passed away, so there was also a little like glimmer in my life.
That's
too.
right.
That and a whole new chapter that was exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So I dealt with my grief, but at the same time, I also had exciting things to look forward to. So, but I mean, I have family who lost their parents later in life and had more time with their parents and really struggle.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel so silly because mine was older and I shouldn't be so upset. And I'm like, I know, but grief is grief. Like, it comes in all forms. And if you need to reach out to someone, if you need medical assistance with it,
Yeah.
if prescriptions are necessary, like, just do what you got to do. Just keep trucking. And for me, it was giving up was not an option. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
and with what comes with what I've known over the years is when someone passes away, sometimes the family around you reacts weird and strange, and it can cause a little bit of a rift. And grief does weird things to people.
Yeah.
And there was things that were said like, oh, the girls aren't going to be able to get through this, or they need this, or someone needs to do that. And so for me, that gave me so much fire to be like, I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
show you
Yeah.
that I
For
can.
sure.
I'm going to get through this. I'm not going to fail. I think there was comments about, hopefully, they don't have addiction problems after this. I'm like, no, it's not going to happen.
Nice.
We're not like this. So that kind of
Nice.
stuff fueled my my want to just to show them that I can do it. So
Yeah.
advice. That's the best thing I can say. Is just
That's a
for
really
sure.
good thing to say. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
and
Yeah.
I think that's the greatest thing about talking and sharing experience is experience is the best form of advice, in my opinion.
Yep.
It's like, to be able to hear the story of someone who has walked down a similar path and come out the other side, a happier, better person is the best kind of advice or the best kind of example to see, to encourage you to try to do the same thing. So, thank you for being so transparent about your experience and your feelings. And I really, I really appreciated what you said about it does get better, even if you can't see it in the moment. I think that's such an important message for anyone struggling with staying alive,
Marshmallow.
and this is my better.
There you go. That's right.
Yep.
That's right. For sure.
Okay.
Thank you so much for taking the time. It was
Thank
really,
you
really
for
nice to chat with you.
Yeah.
And, I am definitely feeling inspired leaving this conversation with you. Because there's definitely been moments in my life where I felt like, oh, poor me, and even recently where it's like, I don't know if this will get better. And to hear your story and to
Yeah.
see, how you've, come out the other side and turned it all around is really inspiring. So thank you for sharing.
Thanks for having me.
And, we hope you have a fantastic day with that adorable boy of yours.
Are you adorable?
He's so adorable. Just so handsome and adorable.
Well, thank you for letting me come on and share. And that was just, if there's just one person that hears it,
That's it.
goes, oh,
Yep.
okay.
For sure.
Or maybe I just need to do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's powerful, right? It's very powerful. So thank
Not
you.
alone.
No,
Yeah,
you're
for
not
sure.
alone.
That's absolutely it.
Don't forget to watch Ghostbusters.
Don't forget to watch
Watch Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters. That's a very important message. And we will end on that note, buddy. Watch Ghostbusters. It's a great show. Thank you so much, Rebecca.
Thank you.
You've been rolling with the Momies on the Momsplanation.
Rolling with the Momies.